Everyone, and welcome to VWMOOC 2024 and our third week. Today we're going on a tour with Valerie Hill and Becky Adams, or Elli, Pinion in virtual worlds. A little bit about Becky. Becky has been in education as a teacher, instructional designer, and higher education administrator for 26 years. She was the director for online course development at the University of New Mexico until her recent retirement. She has been using virtual worlds for her undergraduate and graduate students in both face-to-face and online classes since 2009 and finds it a creative environment for project-based teaching and learning. Becky has spent the last few months working with other educators to bring educators using virtual worlds together through the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium, VWEC. And that's where our tour is going to be taking place today. She's also on the board of Virtual Worlds Best Practices in Education, VWBPE, Community Library, Virtual Library, CVL, and Nonprofit Commons, NPC. Her work continues to support teaching and learning, particularly in online learning using supportive technologies such as virtual worlds. Her doctoral work was in using online technologies for professional development for teachers. If you want more information about Becky, Elli, you'll be able to go into the VWEC, and the link will be available in the description of this video on YouTube. So let me take you to Second Life.
Joining you guys today from the VW MOOC, and we are just so pleased to be a part of the VW MOOC. We enjoy all that they offer, and we are always so privileged to be a part of them. Several of our VW, and what we're doing here is to introduce you to the VWEC, and several of our community is here. We'd like them to join us as we talk about their different areas because we just love our community. The goal of the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium is to bring educators together, both to share what has been successful and to tackle obstacles across virtual platforms and communities. We began in January 2021. And through meeting quarterly, it was our goal that educational communities can collaborate and document progress on best practices for teaching and learning in virtual environments. You're sitting at the Welcome Plaza and our Fireside deck, and it is an educational gateway and covers the information, skills, and resources needed to be an effective educator in virtual worlds. It is managed by the VWEC and supported by the many volunteers who have years of experience in teaching in virtual worlds. And the goal of the Welcome Plaza is to assist both new and experienced educators in virtual worlds to become more effective instructors. What a gateway is you can actually bring your students through our website and they will land here. I'll show you in just a minute as we get up there, rather than landing in the regular Second Life, more open community. And so it's a little safer for our students to join through an educational gateway. We are also a part of the Education Reserve here in Second Life, and if you open your map, you can see lots of educational communities around us. We worked with Lemon Labs to establish the Educational Reserve in order to bring communities together in a main grid with goals that include creating welcoming educational spaces that newcomers can easily find, that promote interaction among residents, and that provide safe, fun, attractive, and easy links to the larger educational community. We also have about 6 other reasons why we did that, but one of the main ones is what Val often says is your students won't have to look over their shoulders across the water and see zombies or whatever that might make them uncomfortable. So in order to protect not only our students but our institutions can feel safe and feel confident that their students are not going to be complaining. That is what the purpose of the Educational Reserve is, and also to collaborate with each other. Another thing that happens here is that we have 4 quarterly meetings. So our VWEC quarterly meetings, which was our plan at the beginning, because we know that instructors and educators and teachers and trainers are all so very busy. And so we just wanted to have like 4 meetings a year. That was our initial idea, and we have continued to keep that schedule. They happen on the second Wednesday of January, April, July, and October at 9 a.m. SLT. There we have lots of interaction. Our goal for those is to hear from our community more than us tell them what we're thinking, and try to take what they're saying into account for the work that we do. We also have started an Metaverse Expert Series. The VWEC invites experts who use virtual worlds for education to share their experiences and their approaches. These talks reflect our goal of serious learning. Our programs, which are scheduled twice a month, consist of a 1-hour presentation that delves into the experiences and approaches of experts who use virtual worlds for education. These talks are followed by a 30-minute happy hour for questions and a less formal discussion. And we've had some very exciting experts to join us. And the last thing I wanted to point out is we also have fireside chats. We have 7 fireside chats. I think I added that up right. Maybe it's 6. I'm going to put those in the chat here, and maybe you guys could add those to the Zoom chat. Our fireside chats happen in several languages and provide an informal time for conversations about virtual world learning, both to help people share best practices and to brainstorm overcoming obstacles. Are you hearing us kind of repeating that? Successes and obstacles everywhere. So these are the ways that we are approaching that. Anyone want to jump in? Did I cover everything? Val or any of our members?
Yes, feel free if there's something else that you wanted to share, if you're one of the leaders of any of our teams here at VWEC, and we will be walking around and you can also jump in then. Speaking of the expert series, I will mention that if you know someone who is an expert in the metaverse that with teaching and learning, contact us and we will invite them to come and speak here. Usually that's twice a month on a Friday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. And we are looking for more experts to share how they promote best practices of teaching and learning here.
Oh, Val, I'm so glad you brought that up. So we do have a form, so please let us know if there's something you'd like to share with our community. We'd love to have you. Thank you for bringing that up. So now I think if everyone would stand up, we're just going to walk over to the side, and Val is going to talk to us, share about our info center. And I also see that Sumoon Magic is here, and Sumoon is our director for the info center. So let's walk over this way. We're just going to go behind you guys. Oops, and let me get my AO on.
All right, if everybody's made it here. I'm standing by our leader of the Info Center, Sumoon Magic. And Sumoon, do you want to say a few words about the name of our Info Center and some of the cool things we now have going on here?
Do I have voice?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I hope my contractor is not hammering too loud. We moved here recently and we renamed the info center after Selby, and we have information on the walls about him, one of our longtime educator patrons. We have a lot of things going on with volunteers and projects and searching for educational, interesting Second Life places that we can list so that people can visit. So we have volunteers visiting them to make sure they're still, current and with us. And we just try to help anybody who has questions. So we're always looking for more volunteers.
And if you look on our website, right on the left-hand side is the calendar, front center on the website, so you can see who's here to get live help about teaching and learning in the metaverse.
We're going to be doing, on the 25th, we're going to be doing a tour here and just walk everybody around and point out all the features that we have here on the 25th.
We're getting it. We'll get it right in.
Thank you. Yes.
There's the website. We had too many windows open at the same time, but if you go to the VWEconsortium.org, you'll see the info center is right on the left-hand side of the page. Your name will be there on what your 1 hour shift might be. And you want to tell them about the bells, Sue Moon, because it's a great way to help people all across Second Life learn about the serious education going on here.
As Max has pointed out, you can click on the website on our desk to get the, click on the laptop to get the website. We have a lot of resources here. We have to remember them all. Lots of good stuff. Just click on everything. There's lots of information here.
And as you know, Sue Moon and I have worked for the Community Virtual Library in Second Life for many years, but that library, which is a real library in a virtual world run by professional information science librarians, we do all our services here because this is where the teachers and the learners are creating a hub in the metaverse. So, but anyone can volunteer here. So it's very interactive. You want to tell them anything about some of the interactive spaces here, Sue Moon?
So all of the posters around, if you click on them, they have information. We have a YouTube station that you can sit down and watch our YouTubes. We have a downstairs area for our volunteers to sign in and see statistics, and there's also lots of interesting tools there. And I guess in the future, across the way, we'll have freebies for educators that we'll be telling folks about a little later also. So come to the tour on the 25th, and we'll walk everybody around.
Yes, Elli's standing by our YouTube little viewing area, and we also subscribe to some of your channels. If you've been doing work in the metaverse for teaching and learning, we will subscribe to your channel to get the word out, because so often educators are isolated and people don't realize what has been accomplished already over the past couple of decades teaching in the metaverse.
And Val, do talk about the directories that you're standing by, as well as the Student Challenge post.
I'm standing right by the directories, and if there's anyone here, I think our directories leader isn't here today, but we have so many exciting things going on with the directories. You can play a role in helping with those too. We're going to have a game coming soon where you can earn badges on your lanyard, which is always fun, if you go looking for educational simulations. If you click on the sign by me, you'll see we have a directory of educational communities, a directory of individuals who are members of VWEC. You can add your name to it. And soon we will have a directory of educational landmarks. And that takes a lot of time and effort because you probably have gone to a landmark that has turned into a ghost town. Nobody's there, it's abandoned, or maybe it doesn't even exist anymore. So we want to keep up with that and not send people on wild goose chases, but actually share the best of the best. And then over here, we've got our VR exploders. As Elli mentioned, we are not just in Second Life. We're exploring across the metaverse, even in VR headset worlds, where many young people are gaming and exploring the metaverse. So if you're interested in exploring outside of Second Life, the VR exploders, there's a form to fill out, and you can go once a month on a Saturday morning. We usually go 9 a.m. once a month on the second Saturday. And there's also our student challenge link there, which will be going on again starting in February of 2025. That's also on our website. And if I'm forgetting anything here and you'd like to speak up, go ahead. Over here's across the metaverse. Come on out on the deck here, right by the water. You won't fall off, don't worry. Out here, there's a poster for Across the Metaverse. As we said, it's not just Second Life. We have a hub for all the open source grids that are hypergridable, and that hub is in Kitely. Why don't you type a Y if you've got a Kitely avatar so we can see if any of you are active in the hypergrid worlds? Great. If you have a Kitely avatar, I see people are saying yes. We're going on hypergrid tours once a month on the fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. and that will also be on our calendar. You can always contact us or come here to the info center if you forget what's going on. This is the hub to find out. We go on hypergrid tours. We start in Kitely and then we jump to other worlds. We have a space in Wolf Territories. We just went to the OpenSim World's Fair this week, and we're going to some of the other hypergridable spaces. Also, across the metaverse, for K-12, if you are interested in what children are doing in the metaverse, or you're a teacher of K-12, we have a free open source building block world, very, very similar to Minecraft, but it's free. It's called Mindtest. And the MOOC is going to show that tomorrow morning at 11:30. So look on the MOOC schedule, and I'll put that in local chat. If you'd like to come and see that Mindtest space tomorrow morning at the MOOC, you can join us on Zoom, and you can see what that is all about. Here's the link to the MOOC schedule in case you have misplaced it. Sumoon, do you want to take them downstairs just for a little moment to see what's downstairs and what's coming soon? Or Sumoon went. We have some things developing downstairs. You'll see Sumoon's back office where the Info Center volunteers get their training. And I might mention coming soon our new magazine. We will have publishing opportunities. We may even make a publishing place right down here. So Sumoon, you want to tell them a little bit about the downstairs area?
We have areas here where our volunteers can fill out a form of what happened on their ship, just so we can see what's going on, and if there are any questions, we can look it over and get back to folks. They can also see spreadsheets and statistics. So that's one of the things down here. There's information about griefers if our volunteers need to know how to deal with that. We have a link to Jan Laura's adventures over there. We have the podcast station, which is a little clunky to get into, but it's kind of cool to do podcasting over there. What else is down here, Val? We have
Yes, you mentioned Jan Loria's landmark. It's this spirally thing that takes you up there. He gives us tours once a month, first Friday of the month, oh no, second Friday of the month at 7:30 a.m. And if we do create our publishing area down here, Meryl, you want to say a brief word about our new scholarly magazine that's coming since you're here, Meryl?
First edition, and nice, very graphics oriented publication. We're sort of emulating what you get out of a University Alumni Association when they send you all that nice stuff after you graduate, highlighting what's being done at the university, and then of course hoping for donations. We're not into the donations world yet, but we're excited about all the things, all the ways that we can show off virtual world education. So stay tuned.
Excellent. So there's so much going on here, but soon we'll be telling you much more about the Info Center if you come for the tour on Sunday at noon. But we want to show you our lookout area, similar to a national park lookout area. So we're going to walk up the stairs, but when we get there, if you lose voice, just wait a minute, it'll kick back in. So follow me up the stairs, and Nellie, I'll send you a teleport. Up the stairs, across the plaza, voice, but we do need these parcels to be segmented so that we can have activities in certain areas and not interfere with each other. So it works really well. And let's see, Nellie's joined me, so you're able to hear. If you go over to the blue signs here, they tell you, it's sort of like a national park directory. It tells you what all these different areas are and what their purpose is. You can see that the Ed Resources area is not quite finished. It's still under construction, but it's coming soon. And you can see the deck from here where we have our fireside chats. You can see the commons where we have some special events like Ari's music, dances, things like that. Just beyond that, down a little bit to the left, we have our meditation river, where we have meditation monthly on the fourth Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. Educators do need a break. They need to relax and appreciate the beauty of the natural world, and there's a wonderful meditation river right down there. Let's see, Elli, you're back. Can you hear me? See if your voice kicked in.
Yeah, sorry, my voice I keep losing voice and sound every time we walk, so I'm so sorry.
No problem. You want to lead us right up the top to our landing point?
Absolutely. So just follow me, keep going up.
Further up.
Cross your fingers so I don't lose voice. I think I'm okay. So in keeping with the fact that we are a community gateway, this is where the students will land, or faculty. And this area provides some basic skills and a pathway to well-developed orientation areas. So there's a few signs around for just basic skills that they'll need. And then we have different types of orientation areas right behind me that they can teleport to get a more thorough orientation based on their needs. And I'm sure you recognize lots of these gateways that are just fabulous. So we didn't feel like we needed to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, and we have one for different types of students or faculty to use. And then we are so fortunate to have been working with some graduate students who do research work here in Second Life. So we have set up, we feel like it's so important to highlight their work, and we feel like that educators would be impressed by that as they come to our landing area. So that's why we place it here. So this was started in 2023 at the Virtual Worlds Best Practices in Education Conference. In collaboration with us, we invited students who have done research in virtual worlds to create poster presentations at the conference. And in partnership with them, we moved these posters to this permanent exhibit at the Welcome Center landing so that other instructors and people interested in education in virtual worlds can enjoy their work and learn from their research. In addition, and we're going to have a little bit better area way to get there very soon, we are in the process of building an additional student area, and we hope that you'll come back and just spend lots of time learning about this research. And over here in this very messy construction, one of our wonderful colleagues, Marie Vans, had the idea to have a building challenge in virtual worlds to engage students and invite instructors to bring their students in. And we've had 2 of them, and we will have another one in spring of 2025. And that note card will give you all the information about that. So in this, the students have an area that they build on. They work with their instructor. It's very open-ended so that instructors can fit it into their content, but it does include a rubric, and actually the rubric is over here. You can probably pan over it. There's lots of information over here. The rubric is right over here, so you can see it. And this is the last year's bill, so a lot of this.
If we have anyone here that by the high quality work of the students, even the younger ones, as we had some that were high school students, and they did a fantastic job. We also had some of you judges that really helped with time to look into the different criteria that they were expected to address. So, excellent project for students.
It really is. We actually talked to a couple of students, and they told us that they spent more time on this project than they ever had in their other class. And of course, we know that the more time we can engage them to spend, the more they're going to learn. So when we finally just drilled down and said, well, did you think you learned more? He actually said, yeah, I really did. Okay, so we have just a couple of other areas we'd like to show you, and we're going to walk back over, except I wish I had a landmark for the Ed Resources building. I'm so sorry, Val. If you have that, you can dig it. I'm going to start walking everybody back.
I'll just see if I have one. Okay. Because we changed it, and I may have deleted my old ones, but no,
thank you, Sandar.
Okay, copy Slurl. I think this might be the Slurl, so I'm going to try it. Copy Slurl.
You can see the avatar running, which is great. The reason I need teleports is so that I can follow the avatar, as you can see, but my avatar is somewhere else, and yet I'm able to follow the lead of this avatar, which I think is wonderful. So if someone can provide me with a teleport each time, there it is, here it comes, and I'll be able to join her. Isn't that amazing? That's how it's done in Second Life, and I see she's not here yet. So hopefully, or maybe I was sent to the wrong place. I hope not. Okay, so I see they're here. Oh no, they're coming. Okay, so there's Val.
So let's see.
Oh, she's gone. I wonder what happened. Okay. I don't know which
All right. Might take a minute for all of our voice to kick back in as we cross the parcel.
Still talking. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It works. You can tell it's still a bit under construction.
Yeah, a lot. It's very much a lot under construction. So this building is a place for us to be able to offer instructors free resources, samples of classrooms, teaching strategies, tools for teaching. It includes the sign over here. Let me walk over to it. The labs have developed a viewer for educators that will not be upgraded except between semesters. Now that's kind of tricky because semesters happen everywhere at different times, but if you click this sign, this is the educator viewer that will not be upgraded during the semester, hopefully, and that way if you are teaching in a lab, then you will have an opportunity to not be locked out if your techs don't let you upgrade things. So keep this in your back pocket, and we will have it developed very soon. We'll have lots of cool free stuff over here. So walking up the hill, we have the models of teaching.
I'll also give you this little, so now we can just pop over to the models of teaching.
There you can see
There's the slow.
Elli's taking us.
If you want a shortcut. Models of teaching is next.
There we are. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. There's my teleport. And the reason I need to be
Over here on the porch where Val is, that it lists our instructors that have participated, but the models of teaching were created to be able to be a place where we could show both new and seasoned instructors models of best practices that work well in actual classrooms. So these exhibits are diverse in content, include K-12, higher ed, and lifelong learning instructors. And please grab a landmark and come back and look, because I think you'll be very interested. Just to be real careful, lifelong learning exhibits are back here kind of snuggled away, and they are so interesting as well. So please come look at how different people teach in different ways, and hopefully that will help you and your colleagues be able to find a way that works for you. So here is our lifelong learning models of teaching right here. And you can go up that path and see several, and this sign does outline who's here as well. And Zinnia and Val, I think, are Pionia are three of the people who have, and Max, and Liz. So we have several of the people here today who have done an exhibit for us. So would anyone like to talk about theirs?
I would be happy to. I
Thank you,
can
Cindy.
share that I have a little lesson about digital storytelling, and you go up the stairs and investigate that. And one of the things that I do want to share with everyone is how much I appreciate the differences between how we all utilize virtual worlds. You'll find bunnies and poses and things within mine, but also being able to develop different learning systems and share them within a learning environment like we do in Second Life. And that my students really enjoy being able to explore and actually learn more about themselves through these processes. And the lesson that's up there is about you finding your personal mission. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share with all of these wonderful educators. Thank you.
I'll also mention that a lot of these models of teaching, these educators have done research, and there are publications on research for teaching and learning in virtual worlds. We're curating a bibliography through the Community Virtual Library, and so some of you, your research is on here. Dissertations that have been done in Second Life and publications. Anybody else want to share a bit about your model of teaching?
Liz, you're kind of the representative for our lifelong learners. Do you mind speaking about what you guys have done?
I don't have my headset. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, we over here in the lifelong learning, I think all of us try to show different ways that we use Second Life for teaching. And in our case, we basically tried to explain to people who might want to start teaching some of the basic ways you can go about it. We wanted to give them some kind of, instructions and encouragement about that. So in this small space, we tried to actually cram a lot of information into note cards and pictures here. And then up the hill, if you can see, there are other places where you can interact with objects. You can interact with one on our space too, a little, the book that we have there. But it gives you a chance to kind of get a sense of how we try to use the immersive environment here.
Great, thank you. And Peonia, would you like to talk about yours? I think I see Max, but I'm...
Yes. Oh, thanks. Yes, that was a fun activity, sharing here my experience with my students in using transmedia storytelling. And in this case, we created new episodes from a story that was an audio story that was then represented in Second Life. So this was during the pandemic time, so it was fun to have students from different countries, and then having teachers being invited to participate. The teachers from different countries that were reflected in the story, so the students had the opportunity to meet them and learn about the different countries, and it was a fun activity that we could do through a Zoom, because most of the students didn't have the technology to come into Second Life, but we built everything together. They created the stories, and well, that was a really nice experience.
Well, and it's so valuable for people to be able to see what you've done and be able to think about, well, what is their content and how could they use those experiences as well. So thank you. And Peonia's is right behind the one that's to my right. So you kind of have to make a circle around to see hers. And then Max's is right up top. But I don't see Max here right now, so I won't go too much into detail with that. As I'm looking at the time, we just have a little bit more time. So let's walk back. And Dodge, I'm going to ask you to talk about the educator development if you want to, and we will pass by the Commons where we have a weekly concert, and it's a place where we want to celebrate play and entertainment, very similar to a Commons on a college campus. So we're going to walk by the Commons. Like for him to talk about it just a little bit. And Max also teaches here, and she does a scripting class that will be starting again in the fall twice a week. So this is a little sandbox for Dodge and Max to use for new instructors. Would you like to talk about just a little bit, Dodge?
Sure, I could do that. So I manage the Second Life program for the Northern Virginia Community College. And as we're bringing faculty into Second Life, we started to develop some tutorials for them. And we had like 5 tutorials that the idea is that when they finish those 5 tutorials, which we would walk them through, working with them together, they would be able to comfortably work with students in Second Life. They wouldn't have to worry about their shoes being off, an arm missing, or clothing issues. They'd understand how to make a board. They could have a texture, how to run a PowerPoint presentation, how to do a media board. All these sorts of things were a part of that. And so when we developed the VWEC area, it was like, well, we don't just need this for NOVA faculty. Let's expand this, maybe make it something that any educator coming into Second Life would have an opportunity to do that. We haven't had a lot of people come forward and say they want to do these tutorials, but Max and I, and be truthfully, mainly Max, made these so that they would be available for anybody, and they don't need to work with another person to do it. They're kind of self-guided. These are available up at the landing site. They'll say the tutorials will take you they'll have web pages that you can go in and download these if you want to. The whole idea is just to get somebody coming in. I want to teach in Second Life, but it's such a big learning curve. I'm having issues. They can very quickly, going through these 5 tutorials, about an hour each, feel comfortable working with students, know how to manage things, know how to res a firm here and do something with it. This is why we have a sandbox. A sandbox is a place where anybody can res something here and do some building. So that's just the whole idea of it. And happy to answer any questions if people have.
Thank you, Dodge. And the tutorials are in the signs that's right next to me as well.
And we're so glad that Builders Brewery has partnered with us. Just so you know, all of these communities are on our website. Look for communities and look for calendars. We try to share all their calendars, like all the classes that are offered at Builders Brewery. So this is a great way to network.
So I think Val has already mentioned Ewan's meditation. We do believe in being healthy, and you can see it from the top of the hill over here if you look down by the river. But that is, I think we've gone over almost everything that we felt like was important to share with you, and we so appreciate you guys joining us, and we're very open for questions. Folks on the MOOC that joined us as well, and we thank you all for being here. And all of our VWEC community, thank you guys for your help.